Tonight, we expose a growing fraud that's ripped off businesses all over the country. And the selling point is this: a computer data network base that's just a fake.
And we've penetrated this racket that's been netting the organisers thousands of pounds a week. Up until now, nobody's been able to stop them.
That is, until we set to work to reveal how this scam operates from the inside.
Hello. Please sit down.
We posed as potential customers of the fake database and secretly filmed the con men at work. These people want their money back.
We tracked down their office and took along some of the small businessmen who'd been conned.
Their money back. You are cheats, you're liars, you're running a scam and you're running a racket. Mr. Malloy, there are a lot of people who want to know what's happened to their money. What is your name? Nicholson? Masters? Thorndyke? What's your name? Come down and talk to us, Mr. Nicholson. Dean Champion runs a firm specialising in bathrooms and kitchens in West London. He and his brother Paul are hard-working craftsmen. They've become victims of a computer con. We went to see Dean on site and hear his story. It tallied with so many others, small businesses who'd been phoned by an organisation selling cheap nationwide advertising. Dean was promised that his firm would be plugged into a computer network with thousands of potential customers. It offered them an exclusive entry into a business directory for the computer age and lots of work in their area. Dean Champion?
Yes.
Roger B.
Hi, I'm DaSilva. Hello.
I gather you've had a problem with a company selling computer advertising, is that right?
Yes, a company called BTB.
Can we talk to you about it?
Please do.
How much were they charging for the services?
Well, initially they wanted £150 plus VAT for the first scanning or screening of the advert, and then they were prepared to give us another area at a reduced rate of £50 plus VAT.
What did they promise you in terms of work?
Well, it was quite fun actually. They actually asked us if our organisation could handle the scale of work they were going to offer us, which was turned out to be rather amusing. They reckoned between 4 and 7 leads a week.
This is where they're operating from, was it?
Yeah, Rivington Business Centre, Rivington House. That's where we sent the cheques and other information back to them, like...
In Great Eastern Street?
Yes.
Do you think you've been had?
Definitely, yes.
Our first call was the company address.
Well, this is the place. Let's see what they're all about. Well, can you see BTB up there?
No, they're not there.
No, they're not. We're going to find out what's going on. My name's Mr. Beam. I'm looking for the Business Trade Bureau because this is their address, or this is what the address I've been given.
This is just a mailing address.
It's just a mailing
Yeah,
address.
Just hold them out here and they collect.
They collect it regularly, do they?
This normally send a courier.
So this was just a smokescreen to conceal the organisation's real offices.
The victims of the Business Trade Bureau are easier to find. Freelance graphic designer Ivan Taylor is based in Highgate. He was also promised work if he sent £145 plus VAT.
I had a call from quite a respectable-sounding lady who asked me if I was able to take on a lot of work over the coming year in corporate identity work, which sounded quite exciting and which I would have been very keen to do. They said that all the inquiries into their database would result in work for me if the inquiries originated in that particular area that I was responsible for.
Do you feel you've been conned?
Well, definitely. It becomes very clear now that I have been.
This computer con was now beginning to leave a nasty taste in the mouth.
Morning, Roger.
Morning, Denise.
Croissants. I just had a call in the office. Apparently one of our guys that got ripped off say that BTB are now advertising in trade magazines. Look, I took a photocopy of this one. It looks as though they now want companies to subscribe to them.
Well, that's very interesting, because that's a way in for us. If we subscribe to them, they'd have to come and sell us the service. That way we'd find out more about this database, more about BTB, and more importantly, more about the people that are selling this stuff. But what we need to do is
to set up a dummy office for them to come to.
Well, I know an office we could use. It'll take a lot of setting up, though.
Well, let's go and set it up.
We were going to con the con men.
We posed as a firm that wanted to tap into their network of advertisers. We were setting a trap for the Business Trade Bureau.
Yeah, better put the sign up. That looks quite professional.
There comes the... We've got the modem, we've got a computer, we've got the keyboard. So when they come, they'll be able to show us their alleged database. OK?
We even printed our own stationery and installed our own staff, a secretary and a computer expert.
Not forgetting, of course, yours truly as a captain of industry. We didn't have to wait long.
Hello.
We secretly filmed the meeting. 2 men came to see me. The boss called himself Peter Masters. In tow was a computer operator called Morgan.
Can you tell me a little bit about how many advertisers
At the
are
moment,
there?
we've got just over 1,200, and it's expanding between 10 and 15 a day, per day.
Right,
So
right.
we're starting to get up there. We cover the whole country.
Morgan demonstrated the BTB database. They said there were 10 phone lines into it. In fact, there's just one.
We were buying a year's subscription. That would put us in touch with all the advertisers. But how many other customers were using the system?
So how many subscribers are we talking about then? That,
Just over 2,000.
Just over 2,000. OK, sorry, I misheard. All right, well, and I can, or Ian can dial at any time and get through instantaneously. All right, fine.
I paid Masters £250 plus VAT. Later we discovered we were the only customer. But now Denise and I were able to check out the system.
Well, there it is, the Business Trade Bureau. So let's fish around, shall we? See what we can see.
Our expert told us the database wasn't worthy of the name. BTB tells advertisers theirs will be the only entry for their trade in their area. But we found that to be a lie, and there were glaring gaps in the nationwide coverage.
No such page. So no graphic design. OK, let's try cleaners. Cleaners?
No such page. They've got a lot on.
It's a con, but the authorities find it hard to tackle.
Are there problems with trading standards prosecuting companies like bogus trade directories, computer trade directories?
We've got to prove the intent right at the beginning. If we're able to do that, we've got reasonable facilities under the Trade Descriptions Act to take action against the company. The police equally could possibly be involved and take action under the legislation they enforce. But similarly, they've got to be able to prove the intent, and this has always been the difficulty for us.
DaSilva.
Hello, is that Roger Bean?
Speaking.
I understand you're investigating a company called the Business Trade Bureau.
Yes.
We have quite a lot of information I think you might be interested in.
You have some information. Where would you like to meet?
How about the canal?
The canal? When?
Say half an hour's time.
OK, that's a good idea. Who do I ask for?
Just ask for Ivan.
All right, Ivan. See you there. Bye. Well, that's very interesting. There's another set of private investigators looking into the Business Trade Bureau.
Really?
Yes, they want to meet me in half an hour by the canal. Ivan.
Hello, Roger.
Roger Bean.
This is Lee.
Hi, Lee.
Roger.
Well, you two chaps have been investigating the same people we've been.
Yep. The
Business Trade Bureau,
That's
right?
right, yeah.
What do you know about them?
Con men. Go back 5 years or so. Various other companies.
Other companies?
Yeah,
So you got a lot of names and faces?
absolutely.
Well, you seem to be further down the road than we are. Would you like to come and meet my partner? Perhaps
Yeah.
we'll share the information.
Of course. Certainly.
Right then.
Our inquiry was hotting up. The 2 investigators showed us evidence linking BTB with 3 similar companies going back to 1989.
Invoice number, that's good enough.
The one before BTB used a mailing address here in South Moulton Street. The 2 investigators monitored it and checked where the mail was going.
They had an incentive. They too had fallen for the con. The company which had ripped them off was called AA Services, or AAS. And the words in that brochure are exactly the same as those in the Business Trade Bureaus, except for the name.
717171.
9246, 9246.
AAS left its own trail of victims. They even included the courier company, which collected their post and cheques from the mailing address in South Malton Street. They're still owed money.
Something over £400.
What happened when they stopped paying?
We tried to find out why they hadn't paid. We sent people around to the address and found that it had moved.
AAS also targeted small businesses like self-employed roofer Gary Oldin. He too was cheated in just the same way as the victims of the latest company, BTB. He was conned into becoming the sole representative for 2 areas on the computer database. Gary would like to meet the conmen again, preferably on a roof. Gary Oldin?
Yeah, that's me.
Hi, Roger Beam. Can I have a word with you?
Yeah, sure.
You going to come down here?
Nah, it'd be better if you come up on the roof.
Oh, my God. OK. I knew I shouldn't have drunk all that stuff last night. Well, you certainly got a head for heights, Gary.
Yeah.
Roger Beam. Nice
Hello
to meet
there.
you.
All right.
Now, you've had some trouble with this company, haven't you?
AAS.
Is that what they're called?
Yeah.
What do they promise you?
Work. They promised me, like, work down in Wimbledon, like a couple of flat roofs and a slated roof in Epsom, if I, like, paid money to go onto their computer.
And how much did you have to pay?
Well, the first one was £117, that was for London and the South West. And then the next one was about £170-odd, which was for London and the South East.
Well, what happened? Why did you have to pay again?
Because 2 different areas. One's the South West, they classed, and one was the South East.
So they've really preyed on people like small people like you.
Yeah, basically. I mean, it's hard enough as it is, without having mugs like that coming around having a go at you.
The Federation of Master Builders, whose members have been badly hit in the recession, has had many complaints about these computer directories. It's been keeping files on all of them.
Is there one particular company or companies that have come to your attention?
There seems to be a series of companies, but certainly BIT, Business Information Technology, was the one that started the problems, and we had a number of inquiries. And of course, this particular company was associating themselves with the Federation of Master Builders, so we got very concerned. The next company then appeared, AA Services. They had exactly the same brochure, exactly the same screen, with one item missing. The Federation of Master Builders had been erased from the screen.
And is there a latest company that you've had complaints about?
Yes, Business Trade Bureau. They have now appeared, offering the same false promises, offering hope to builders who are certainly on their knees and desperate for work, but nothing will materialise.
Finally, we tracked the last company in this chain to a Battersea business centre. We put BTB under surveillance to discover who was working there and what their roles were.
I kept watch, and sure enough, a familiar face appeared. It was Morgan, our computer operator, accompanied, we later learned, by Karen, the office manager. She pays about 25 staff.
Colin, a team leader in telesales, and Sonia, who used the name Sarah Lloyd to con one of our victims.
Dennis, one of the pitchers who dupes potential advertisers with false stories of work, and Maz, a dropper who makes the first telephone contact.
Jim, another team leader with a false name. Lying is all part of the job.
Roger, I think we found one of BTB's ads in the Evening Standard. They're advertising for telesales people. That's their number, isn't it?
It certainly is, and that's a bit of luck for us. Because we could get somebody in there to tell us exactly how the racket's run, and possibly who's in charge of it.
Well, why don't I get young Eddie to do it? He's young enough to get the job. Shall I set him up for an interview?
That's a great idea. Call him now.
All right.
Eddie rang and was called for an interview. Unfortunately for BTB, we secretly filmed and recorded it.
Hello?
Yeah, it's Mr. Loft. I've got an interview.
Thank you.
Eddie's interviewer was Sonia, although she used the name Sue. But she did tell the truth about the job.
There is a lot of lying involved. That doesn't bother us.
Well, no, not really. So long as I get paid for it.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
So
that's
you
the
just...
sales for you, isn't it?
Yeah. Definitely.
basically.
We tell them what they want to hear.
Sure.
You make the database sound as if it's really big and all the big businesses use it. And, you know, it's been established for years and it's really, you know, you make it sound really good,
Right.
basically. It is programmed onto the database. It is online, so you know people can dial into it. So what we're doing is completely legal because
Right.
those are the terms and conditions of the contract that they sign. Are just that we'll put them on the database, and we do.
Right. So.
Some companies are doing this and not putting them on the database, which you know is stupid.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't cost much to have a database, and it makes it legal.
Right.
So
Sure.
you know we can go on for a long time. You tell them that we make our money from the subscribers, that we've got thousands and thousands of subscribers.
Right.
And that's how we make our money. So all they're paying is just for their details to be put on screen.
Right.
So,
Right.
Eddie was hired and given a script on how to con clients on the telephone. He was told to follow a 6-point guide which lied about the number of subscribers and also lied about local authorities recognising them.
He was told about the get-out clause in the customer contract, which translated means the company can't be held to anything they say or do.
Eddie started work and it was made clear to him by another member of staff that this was a racket.
It's up to you, you know, you play it by ear. You've got your
Right.
script, which gives you the first few calls, you'll probably follow it.
Right. But we don't actually have to worry whether we've got someone in that area already. I mean, that doesn't.
It's a scam.
Right.
Conservative MP Emma Nicholson campaigns against computer crime and promised to do something about the new scam.
I'm immensely concerned by the data you've given me on the company that we are referring to. On the face of it, there does seem to be a possible intent to deceive, and I'm sure that the courts wouldn't feel very happy about that. I've always been very involved in computer crime. I'm unhappy that a computerized database appears to be being used in a way that cannot satisfy the customer needs and expectations for which those customers are being asked to pay. So I shall take the evidence you've given me and refer it to Michael Hazeltine, the President of Trade and Industry, and also to the Office of Fair Trading. Maybe they should have a really thorough scrutiny.
We next decided to see how BTB would respond to their victims if they demanded to see the database. The kitchen specialist, Dean and Paul Champion, turned up at BTB's offices and we secretly filmed the result.
Mr. Champion, yeah. Dean, is it?
And lo and behold, who was there to reassure them but my old friend Peter Masters.
We don't seem to be getting calls back out of the network, and we've been online for supposedly a month.
Right.
And just want to have a look at the system and see how it all works. And see.
Just check out the process, you know, see how the calls come in and where
It's
our
fairly
money's going.
simple. I mean, we don't usually do this, but seeing you've turned up at the doorstep. The system's not actually here, but we can dial into it using the PC over here. So
you get a bit of.
And of course, Morgan was at the keyboard pretending the system was busy. It couldn't have been because our make-believe company was the only customer.
What sort of subscribers have we got to the system now?
Well, we're at the moment looking around 40,000.
So 40,000 people can use a modem and access the system at their PC at home or in their business or whatever.
Yeah.
Masters was anxious about one thing, how on earth Dean and Paul found BTB.
How did you find this address, by the way?
Hardly the sort of question that an upfront businessman would ask, but BTB's staff are told never to reveal their real address.
He works with a security agency.
And then the man we knew as Peter Masters underwent an identity crisis.
We need you to like back up.
So you are
I'm the general manager, Chris Nicholson.
Chris Nicholson, right?
All right, sweet.
So I'll know who to shout at next time.
Yeah, well.
So now he was Chris Nicholson, the general manager, but that wasn't his real name either. Virtually everybody who dealt with the public there used false names.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, now we know from people who've worked for all these racket companies and people who've been associated with them that this little group here have worked for every single firm right up to the present time. This guy, team leader. This woman, team leader and trains all the new recruits. This woman was a dropper, is now a receptionist. This guy has a degree of responsibility because he locks up the office every night, virtually every night. This guy, team leader. And this woman, who's a receptionist, handles all the administration and paying the staff. And all of them now work for our old friend, this chap, at the Business Trade Bureau.
Who goes under several guises. Peter Masters, Chris Nicholson, Chris Malloy, and Peter Thorndyke.
Yes, he's got many aliases, and so have they all.
Now it was time for the victims to get their own back and confront the swindlers. The conmen and conwomen were about to get their comeuppance.
We hired a minibus, but it could have been a coach. The aim was to get their money back and flush out the people behind the computer con companies. We drove to their offices in Battersea and walked right in.
Hello, this is Mr. Masters. Mr. Masters here. Hello, Gordon. Where's your boss, Mr. Masters?
He's away.
Where is he? Would you like to explain to me why you're operating a scam here, everybody? A racket? Sorry? You're operating a racket here. You're cheating people out of money.
No, we're not.
You're cheating people out of money.
Can you please
You've cheated all these people out of money. Can you explain to me why? No. Can you explain to me why you're cheating people out of money?
Someone get on the phone to the police, please.
Yes, you get the police here. Get the police here.
No problem.
Get the police. Get the police here.
I'd love to have the police here. You have our money.
No. Go get
You
the
robbed
police,
us
it's fine.
for
Will someone please call the
£175.
police? Out.
Get
No.
Mr. Masters.
Out, now.
No, get Mr. Masters now.
No, Mr.
Where's your
Masters not
boss?
here.
Where's your boss? Where is he? Who runs this place? Who runs it? Who runs this place? Where are they? Why are you hiding? Why are you lying to people? Why are you lying to businesses? All these people are owed money. They want their money back. You're cheats, you're liars, you're running a scam, and you're running a racket.
Where is he?
We're back here today to get our £175 back. We saw this guy here sit down and try and con us with this ridiculous thing here. We can see through this. It's transparent. You're not even very good at what you do. Once we actually got here, everyone was really rattled. We could tell it was a racket.
Who is the manager? Who is the manager?
The manager will arrive
Who
as
is
soon
he?
as possible.
Who
We've
is he?
got in touch with him.
Who is he?
You'll see him when he comes.
What's his name? Which name is he going to use
But
today?
how come you know all this information and you don't know the manager's name?
Well, which name is he going to use?
What do you mean which name he's going to use?
Because
you
we've had.
must know the manager's
I've had a
name.
man use 3 different names to me. Who is he going to be this time?
Well, you'll have to find out when he comes
Yeah.
in, won't you?
We left, but later found out BTB had been making around £10,000 a week.
That evening, I caught up with the general manager at home. He's a man of many names, but the real one is Chris Malloy, and he's a director of BTB's parent company. The 3 other directors couldn't be found. Mr. Malloy, you've got to explain to these people where their money is, and you've got to explain what sort of business you're running, because we have evidence that it is merely a scam and a racket, and that you and the people who work in your company are liars. We'd like to know why you're running a racket and a scam. I mean, what is your name these days? Is it Peter Masters?
It's not a racket and a scam.
It's a racket and a scam. You've lied to countless people to take their money, including us. What is your name? Nicholson? Masters? Thorndyke? What's your money? What's your name? Come down and talk to us, Mr. Nicholson. But he wouldn't. Insiders tell us he's worked for at least 2 of the other companies running the same racket. Right, well, I think to celebrate our successful entry into BTB's headquarters, we should celebrate, shouldn't we? A bottle of champagne, yeah?
Our victims had got some satisfaction in exposing the scam, but was it enough?
The sad thing is that the law's is still protecting them more than it's protecting us.
But at least the police have taken all your details and what you say you're owed by this company. So it may be that in the long run, you get satisfaction. OK, well done, everybody.
Yeah, cheers.
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 Down with all con men.
Next week, Beam and DaSilva pursue the criminal gangs who steal machinery from building sites and film an actual theft in progress. If you have a problem you would like investigating, write to Beam and DaSilva, PO Box 101, London WC2N 4AW.